Welcome to this tutorial on how to use Book Creator for iPad. When you first launch Book Creator, you are presented with a screen of book thumbnails. To create a new book, simply tap the plus icon at the bottom of the screen. This gives you a range of choices that we'll explore later on. Or you can just simply tap the New Book button in the top left-hand corner. To begin your book, you must first choose the style of book. There are three choices: portrait, which is the most common book orientation for iBooks, square, and landscape. I'm going to choose portrait for this tutorial. But I'm actually going to use a book that I've already created. You are first presented with a single page that will act as the cover of the book. Here you can add a title and any images to create an eye-catching cover. In future updates, I hope there will be options for creating a table of contents page, which would be a useful navigating tool. These are seen often in published iBooks. Adding an image is a simple task. Tap the familiar photo library icon, seen in many apps, in the top right-hand corner. This will bring up a scrolling menu of albums from your iPad's photo library or camera roll. It's a good idea to set up albums of specific photos and images to make finding the desired images easier, especially on iPads shared between grades. Select the album you have your image stored in this case the camera roll. You can scroll up and down to select it, and I'm going to pick this Book Creator icon. Your image will appear in the center of the page already selected. For moving, put it up in the corner, and resizing by grabbing the blue dots. Once your image is in place, you can then tap the text button, which looks like two T's. You'll find that next to the photo library icon. This will bring up a text box to insert your text. We'll give this the title, Book Creator for iPad tutorial. When you're finished, you just tap the Done button to insert the text into your page. Now the text will appear just like the image did, selected already for resizing and moving. Now the resizing just increases the size of the text box itself, not the writing. To edit the text appearance, you tap on the Info or the I icon up in the top right hand corner, which activates the text and page editing menu. In here you can increase the font size using the slider bar at the top. So I'm going to turn this into about a 50 points. There you go. And you can change the font type, the colour, and make it bold, italic or underline. You can also align the text and move it in front or behind other elements of the page, which we don't have to at the moment. Now let's change the font. Tapping on the font selector, you get a scroll down list of installed fonts. I'm going to pick Futura. Once you select your font, it will be remembered for all future text boxes until you decide to change font style. This is important for later because we don't want to have really large text in the rest of the books, the rest of the book. Let's just go back and we'll change the colour, make it blue. Let's just move it up a little bit so it fits in. And let's see if bold makes it fit. That's fine. Okay. Now the info icon also gives you the option to edit the page appearance as well as the text. So deselect the text, go to the info, and now you'll see page, and you can change the page colour. So let's change that to this colour down the bottom here, which I've used before. It's as simple as that. Now there's also an option to add a soundtrack. to your book, if you so desire. You can see it says soundtrack in the menu here. Just flick it over to enabled, and then you can choose your track. And it takes you to a list of all the songs and sounds that you've got installed in your iTunes library on your iPad. Let's just quickly pick a song. You get to see my choice of songs here. You'll see sometimes it takes a little time to load, depending on the size of the song. Now what you do is you get the option to have the song go throughout the entire book or just for the entire page. Now in the end I'm not going to keep this song, but I'm just showing you how to do it. Still loading, sometimes takes a while. Must be a large file. Once it finishes loading, you'll get a message to select the song for the whole book or just for the page. There it is. Do you want to apply this soundtrack to every page? I don't, so I'll hit no. Now of course once you've done all that, if you want to delete the soundtrack, just go back to the info and you can just go enable off, and then you'll get the message, do you want to remove the soundtrack from every page, and you say yes. And so I don't have any music on there, but there's an option there because some people like to have a bit of music in the background of their book depending on what kind of book they're making. Okay, so once your cover is completed, it's time to move on to the next page to create the rest of the book. Now you do this just by tapping the little icon on the right hand side. It looks like an arrow. At the moment it says next, but on the other pages it just has the little arrow icon, so let's tap that and we come to the next page. Let's just delete all this stuff off here because we don't want it on here. We want to show you how to put it on. So I'll delete that and we'll delete the image as well. You just, if you want to delete things, you just tap the info button and whatever you selected, there's a delete option. Okay. So as you can see now, there's a double page spread to work with. Now, using the same tools I've already described and used, you can add your text and images and move them to either of the two pages. So let's put in our picture, go our camera roll, and we'll select what I want on the first page, which was already there before. And there it is. Let's resize it and put it up the top. And then we'll put some text in. This time I'm just going to paste in the text that I already had. Now the problem here is it's going to become very large, so I'm going to have to change the font size. There it is there. So we'll go to the info and let's shrink that text size down to 20. Can be a bit fiddly. There we go. Let's resize the text box, move it down to the page, go back to the info, let's get rid of the bold and change the colour back to black so it matches, and the font I think is Georgia. There you go, that looks like the rest of the book. So now that's done. And that's pretty much what you do for the rest of the book. Add images, add text. And now that I've changed the font to Georgia for the rest of the book, it'll just automatically be this size and that font. So you won't have to fiddle around with it anymore. Now another cool feature that's been added, that's been in Book Creator from its beginning, is you can actually add a narration as well. You can turn your book into an audio book, which is good for little kids, so they can read along, and also for creating, because you can get them to read the books that they make. So all you have to do is tap the little musical symbol icon up the top near all the other functions, and that brings up the recording tool. And all you got to do then is tap on the red button to start recording your voice. So I'll read the first text box. Here we go, tap. When you launch Book Creator, you are presented with a screen of book thumbnails. To create a new book, tap the plus icon at the bottom of the screen. That'll do. Now you'll notice that the recording word is flashing to show that it is still recording, and at the moment there's a stop button there instead of record button. For some strange reason, the timer starts with 11, but you'll note that it's counting at the moment, and I'm up to about 25 seconds. Now, as soon as you finish, just press the stop button, and you get a message, recording finished? Do you want to use this recording? At this stage we'll press yes. And what you'll notice is we get a little audio icon that you can move around the page. Resize to smaller or bigger. And to make it work, all you got to do is tap on it. Here we go, tap. When you launch Book Creator, you are presented with a screen. Oh, that'll do. Now I actually don't want that, so I'm going to go back and hit the delete button. And that gets rid of that. Now you'll also notice in the, in the recording feature, there's an option to import from your iPad. So if you've got any sound effects or other recordings that you've already imported onto your iPad, you can add them straight in as well. So that would be good for interactive books where you want to put sound effects in next to the pictures. So that's another option there, but I'm not going to do that now. Okay. Now earlier we changed the background colour of our cover. We're going to do that to the pages now as well. Now the difference here is you can actually make both sides of the pages different colours, because technically they are different pages. So you'll see here it says left page colour and right page colour. So I'll just tap on left page colour and I'll pick my choices, and I'm going to pick one of the recent ones that I've already used, this one. Okay, so that's the left, and we just go back to page, click right, and this time I'm going to use the custom menu and make my own colour. And what you get this time is a custom colour selection screen where you can just tap anywhere, find the colour you want, and once you're happy with it, you can just hit apply and it changes the colour. And go back to colour, and you'll notice that last colour was there in the recents menu, and that's good because sometimes you want to use the same colours and you don't want to fiddle around with all the time, so you can just hit the recent one and get the colours all the way through the book for a bit of consistency. Now an option that's been added more recently in Book Creator is the option to actually add video. Now the video is again found in the photo library, so we just click on photo library and go to camera roll, and you'll notice the difference between video and pictures is that you have the little movie icon. Now I'm going to add this little 3-minute clip called London Zoo. You can see there it goes for 3 minutes and there's a little video icon there, so just tap on that. You get a bit of a preview. You can press it if you want to, just to see what's going on. That's enough. And then you just press use up the top. It compresses the video, and then it just gets inserted just like the image does. And of course you can resize that as well, move it around. You'll notice when you move the images around, and the audio one as well, and if you get too close to the edge, a little red barrier is there. That's because when you publish an iBook, there are limits to the margins. You don't want your videos to be cut off the margin, so it's a good little feature in Book Creator that actually stops you from putting the images and the videos too close to the edge. Okay, so that's pretty much all you got to do. Now of course you can use videos in information books. You know, it's things like book reports and things like information reports and inquiry units, social studies, history, geography, things like that. So that's a good function now that you can actually put videos in there as well. But of course I don't want this one because it's got nothing to do with owls. So I'm going to just go to my info and just press delete, and it's gone.